In this video, I leave the modern comforts of Buenos Aires in search of some new adventures, new scenery, and new horizons in the Salta region of Argentina. Join me and my 4 new friends on this weekend journey we'll never forget. All right, and confirmed. We're going somewhere really cool. Let's go. Now that we've made it to the airport,
the gang's all here.
Allow me to introduce you to the gang.
First we have Shino, aka Sheeny, a product manager from Sacramento, California. She once went to the hospital for eating too many enchiladas. Next we have Gabi, financial crime researcher from Tulsa, Oklahoma, who's been to 78 countries. Stacy's a social worker from middle of nowhere, Iowa, and she likes corn. Last but not least, we have Jenna, also known as the Crier, a freelance writer and editor from Morristown, New Jersey, who has an extra bone in each foot. Jenna also wrote the story of this road trip from her perspective. You can read it on my blog at abald.blog or the link in the description.
We landed in Salta.
Just got off our PJ. Don't look at that plane over there.
And immediately faced our first challenge of the road trip, getting our car. I followed the instructions I got from a random WhatsApp number who claimed to have a reservation. They sent us a random address and a photo of this dark, unmarked building. Not sketchy at all. But we already pre-booked the car and had no other option. So we called an Uber and made our way there. Luckily, the people there were actually very nice and not sketchy at all. So I signed a bunch of the forms in Spanish I could barely read, and they handed us the keys to our trusty steed. There was a strange smell in the trunk, but otherwise, all seemed good. We stopped for a quick dinner and then made our way to the hotel we booked that morning.
Exactly. You get the cup of this. I just love this so much.
We were all crammed in one room, but it did the job and made for a good laugh.
Day 2. Here we go.
The next morning, we fueled up both our bodies and the car, and we were on our way. So this is the plan. We definitely didn't throw together last minute. We're starting the road trip here in Salta. We need to get to here in Purmamarca tonight, where we have our Airbnb booked for the weekend. We'll take the long way around so we can hit Cardones National Park and then drive north on Route 40, which is the famous highway that runs all the way north and south through Argentina. That way, we can hit the salt flats on the way to the Airbnb. The next day, we'll be able to see the mountains of 14 colors with some time left over to explore around Purmamarca. Then, on the last day, we'll have a leisurely drive to the Jujuy airport just in time for our flight back home to Buenos Aires. Seemed simple enough. With our plan in place and spirits high, we set off towards Cardones National Park.
What's going on, YouTube?
Click the subscribe button below or here or up here.
As we drove into the park, we could see some beautiful red hills appearing in the distance. So excited, we pulled over to take pictures with the landscape. We didn't know it at the time, but this was nothing compared to what we'd soon see. At the top of the mountain pass, we came across some stands where locals were selling some neat, handmade jewelry and crafts. The winding mountain roads quickly turned into huge flat plains, where we began to see some cool wildlife.
Me out, Dad. Oh no, come back. I didn't bring my camera.
Yeah, that is so cool.
search of something to eat, we drove through Payogasta. We had no luck finding any food, but we did find some cute baby sheep.
Mary had a little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb, and she was by the shore.
Getting hungry, we continued north up Route 40, where the landscape changed yet again.
In my way, buddy boy. You're gonna stick a head in the window. Excuse me. Hi. Oh.
We were losing steam, but our spirits were still high. We came across another town, La Poma, that we were hoping would have an open restaurant. Luckily, we struck gold and found the nicest family who took us in and offered us some homemade empanadas. We were starving, but I still think they were the best empanadas we've ever had. Unfortunately, with the amazing food, the lovely woman also delivered us some unfortunate news. We told them about our plans to head north to Purmamarca. With a concerned look, she broke the news that Route 40 was flooded north of here, and only tall 4x4 vehicles were allowed.
All right, what's happening, Jenna?
We're in the middle of a crisis. Somebody call Interpol. Somebody call the embassy.
I told gas. That's all.
Oh my god.
What's happening, Stacy?
Well, I have chocolate all over.
What's happening? We're in the middle of
You
a
caught me
crisis.
in the middle of a moment.
All right, Stacy, give us the update on the situation.
Okay, we have officially turned back. So now we are heading north again, and we're gonna try to swim with the car through the river. And if we make it, then we don't have to drive for like 18 hours back the same way we came.
So we're going against everything the nice lady that just made us empanadas and the police officer, who was also very nice, told us. And we're gonna try to go straight through the river.
Yeah.
Because our Airbnb host, we think, told us that in Spanish. We couldn't translate one of the words.
Wish us luck.
Buena suerte.
That's right, despite multiple locals advising against it, due to a mix of curiosity and denial that we wasted hours of our day driving into a dead end, we decided to turn back around and take our chances with the river.
Here's river number 1. Did you make it? Yep, that was it. We did it.
We figured that it was our only chance to make it to the Airbnb on time, so why not try? What's the worst that could happen, right?
That's so cool. But that car can make it, our car can make it.
I am panicking. Gabi, will we make it?
With a couple successes under our belt, the confidence we built up quickly diminished as the stream crossings kept getting deeper and sketchier, while both the sun and our gas tank got lower and lower.
I have to stay really to the left because I think it gets a little deep there. But if you go this way, I think we'll be fine.
Okay, here's what I'm thinking. Gotta get the tire, left tire over here. And then you hit it right there. It gets deep over here. So we gotta kind of go at an angle like this once we get there. And we got this. And the promised land over there. Right, so like we can still make it to Kachi. I think we just follow this river back and forth. If we have to cross it like any more times and it's anything like this, it's gonna get dark. I also don't think we should waste too much more time because we still have to cross that river. Yeah, I definitely think we should go back.
The wheels aren't going to have any traction.
Yeah, I definitely think we should go back.
Despite our progress, I decided I didn't want to be the tourist sleeping in a car stuck in a river in the middle of nowhere with no food or water.
But it was a fun adventure. Well, it's still an adventure. We still have to get back.
Reluctantly, the rest of the team agreed, and we started the dark, quiet drive back towards town, defeated. We made it to Kachi, which seemed like the biggest, most promising town to find a decent last-minute accommodation for the night. A nice gaucho man saw us arriving, put down his instrument he was playing, and immediately greeted us and began hopping door to door, helping us with our search for somewhere to stay. We found the perfect thing. A lovely woman with a hostel with an empty room of bunks just for us. And at 4,000 pesos per person, it was a deal and we happily paid her.
This is fucking beautiful. Look at this.
It's made for us. We could have negotiated and said we had a deal with someone in Oklahoma.
Yeah, does this come for breakfast? If not, we're gonna drive back.
Celebrating our lottery win, we enjoyed a nice but late dinner. But as the high of a roller coaster of a day wore off, some of us started questioning whether the hostel was really more diamond than rough. Collectively, we agreed to give one more shot to find something a bit less bug-infested. We drove around town only to find closed or full hotels. About to give up, we tried one more hotel at the top of the hill. Luckily, I was able to flag down a staff member in the kitchen.
Adiós. Perfecto.
Okay, 5:30.
Muchas gracias.
In yet another great stroke of luck, it was beautiful, and they had just enough rooms available for all of us.
Oh, all right, it's a double bed. Thought it was a single. Let's freaking go. Well deserved, baby. Let's go.
The next morning, while the ladies got packed up, I took the car to top up on some much-needed gas.
Starting off the day with some more bad news. So I stopped at the gas station back there, and the dude says they don't have gasoline. No tengo gasolina, which is not the best. He said the nearest gas station is 120 kilometers away, and they won't get gas until 14 horas, in 4 hours. It's currently 10 a.m. But luckily, we just have to go back across the mountains, and since we're so high, I think we can basically coast all the way down, and I think we'll be okay. So I think we're gonna go for it. But more unfortunate news. Traveling's fun! Okay, we have problems. So I went to go get gas, and I pulled up to the thing, and the guy, he said they'll get a delivery at 2 o'clock in 4 hours. But I think we'll make it. He told me the nearest one on the other side of the mountains, there's one that where 33 meets whatever highway it is. And I think we should make it fine because it's all just downhill.
So we headed back through Cardones National Park. Although it was a bummer we had to backtrack, it was a clear day, so we enjoyed views we didn't get to see on the first time around, and actually turned out to be a lovely drive.
And we made it to gas. No problems at all. Never worried.
We decided to make a pit stop for lunch back in Salta, where the road trip began. A man approached us offering to draw a photo of all of us while we ate, to which we said, why not?
Oh my god!
Llegó la hora de la verdad.
Oh my god, I'm so scared.
A la 1, a la 2 y a la 3, mira. Mira. Ahí están los nombres. Mira.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Mira.
Oh, yikes.
Mira.
Oh, qué horrible.
I'm so.
Qué horrible.
Why do I not have eyes?
Son cómics, son caricaturas, son cómics. Tiene que, ahí te puso, mira, más o menos allá.
Nice.
Ah, perfecto.
Oh my.
Entonces,
Ahora soy guapo.
We continued onward and kept going to the place that we had all been waiting for. After driving home again in the pitch dark, we enjoyed a local dinner in Purmamarca with a bottle of wine and live music to celebrate finally arriving at our destination. It was the final day of our road trip, and we had one very special stop before our flight back to Buenos Aires.
Una contorne y queso, por favor.
ese más mediodía.
Oh, no es desayuno. Entonces, ¿qué tienes ahora?
Jamón y queso, salame queso, tomate queso y cebolla, tomate queso y basílico, bondiola con queso y choclo.
¿El salami es de llama o?
No, salame fiambre, no de llama.
Siempre, ok. Salami con queso para mí, por favor.
¿Salame con queso?
Sí. Final stretch of the road trip. Here we go.
It's not very well known, but Argentina is supposedly home to its very own Rainbow Mountains. That's rumored to rival the famous ones in Peru. After the beautiful landscapes we'd come across so far, we believed it, but we had to go find out for ourselves.
We made it to the colorful mountains. We're at about 14,000 feet, and it's quite hard to breathe. But look at those. Increíble. Qué bonita. And now we have this mountain to climb up, and a long drive home, and then an even longer drive to the airport, and then a flight home to Buenos Aires. This has been awesome, super worth it. And there's like no one here. Oh, no hay muchas turistas. Qué guay. Muy bien. While most of us were having a great time taking in the views of the winding mountain roads, Jen in the backseat was having a completely different experience. You can read this story from her perspective on my website at abald.blog or the link in the description.
Driving back, after achieving our goal of visiting both the Salt Flats and the Rainbow Mountains, I couldn't help but think about everything we had just seen and experienced. I'm certain this region of Argentina has to be the most underrated by far. When you hear Argentina, you probably think about Buenos Aires or the mountains in Patagonia, or even Mendoza, its world-renowned wine region. There's also the famous Iguazu Falls on the Brazilian border. But nobody seems to talk about the northwest region that boasts stunning scenery of its own. If you get the chance, be sure to visit and see for yourself, because it's absolutely one of my new personal favorites. And just as quick as it started, our road trip came to an end. We arrived at the Jujuy airport and returned to our trusty steed that had taken us all this way.
Stacy, how are we ever going to make it in time? I don't
don't think we are.
Finally made it to the airport here in Jujuy. The ladies are hanging out over there. It's been a long trip. Well, it's been a short trip. It's only been a couple days, but it's felt like a long trip. Tons of driving. I should calculate how many kilometers we drove total, but just hours and hours of driving. But it was all so worth it. It was such a fun trip. Most things went super well. Some things did not go so well, but honestly, I wouldn't change any bit of it. It was honestly such a fun experience. Cool. About to fly out. Flight leaves here in about an hour, and it's back to Buenos Aires for a lot more fun times ahead. Thanks all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.